Okay, yo, welcome back. Welcome to the channel. It is, you know who I am. You clicked on the video. Okay, so, I guess I shouldn't be so like, right now. Let's get more serious. Okay, so, as you probably already see from the title, we all know about the situation that just happened, unfortunate situation that just happened with the guy, Duane Wright. So he was a guy that was pulled over during a traffic stop. He was shot by a police officer. He ended up dying from those injuries he sustained during the shooting. As this is all playing out, so the guy, I watch this guy a lot, just because he does provide a lot of like insight on how police officers operate and think, because he was a former police officer. Two, he gives a lot of good rationale on a lot of these issues that are happening. And he's just a great speaker, so I listen to him. So with all those things, he's been following like this situation. So I'm guessing by the title of the video that he just put out, the officer has now been charged in that situation, and so he's made a video about it. So I'm here to watch with y'all basically what he says about the situation, because he made a video about it already, like when it first happened. So this is the follow-up to that. So we're gonna get into this and see what's happening.
Appropriate charge. This video is brought to you by the Office Tatum Store. The Office Tatum Store, get the merch link in the description section. Like and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell so you get notifications anytime I go live and make a video. Make sure you still subscribe to my channel. Hit that join button so you can join the Tatum squad. Like this video, comment on this video, share this video. Let's get into this. So real quick, because I got to attend to my newborn. So Officer Potts, the young lady who had 20 plus years on the police department, who accidentally shot Duane Wright. And
I wanted to stop right there really fast. So it was, first it was speculated that she may have been like a new officer or something like that, and then and people were like scrambling to try to find her information. But now he said, so she's been on there 20-something years. I believe I saw something that said she served 26 years. So that just makes this whole situation even crazier, because it's like, well, I'll let him talk.
A traffic stop gone wrong. When I say traffic stop gone wrong, I mean a traffic stop where a young man had a warrant for his arrest because he was pulled over legally, having expired tags, and they found out he had a warrant. They tried to arrest him. He fight the officers. He tried to get in the car and take off. And Officer Potts, who has a tremendous amount of experience on the police department, accidentally pulled a gun instead of the taser, shot him one time. It ended up being fatal, and now she's being charged with a second-degree manslaughter. Let me explain this real quick, and we'll look at the statute so you can see exactly why this is not the right charge. I don't understand how she can be convicted of this when you read the statute at face value, and somehow they're going to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt. So I think it's incredibly difficult to pull a taser instead of a gun. However, I wasn't there. I don't know what their training is. I would have never made a mistake to pull a taser over a gun. I can say I would never. And one reason is that there's two threat levels. If I feel that I'm so panicked that and you are a threat, I'm going to pull my gun. I'm not going to pull a taser. If I feel so much like my life is in danger and this has just gotten out of hand, this kid is, I'm afraid for my life, I'm pulling my gun. I'm not even thinking about a taser. Only way I'll pull a taser is if a person is in a stagnant position and I can get them with the taser unobstructed, not with police officers hanging all over him, not when he's behind the wheel of a vehicle, because if you tase him and he somehow got the car and drive, he's stiff up with his foot on the gas, he finna drag all y'all down the street.
And that's a good point too that he's bringing up there, because as y'all see in the video of what happened, so she shot him one time, But in the process of that, she almost shot the officer right that was holding him, that was right beside him. And then there's a passenger across from her. And on top of that, her sergeant is outside the other door. So everybody's in a line like this. And as she shoots like this, just think if she was over just a little bit, she could have hit all of them. Yeah.
Poor training and execution is what I call this. She clearly made a mistake. It was a mistake. Now, I'm going to pull up the statute. It was a mistake. A fatal mistake, but in fact, it was a mistake. I believe this would have never happened if the young, dumb punk wouldn't have been breaking the law and resisting arrest. Now, let's look at the statute, because I need y'all to see this so you can be aware of it, because most mainstream media is just throw out charges and people are like, yeah, manslaughter is accident. Manslaughter is when you accidentally kill somebody. But there's a statute. There's letters of the statute that they have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt in order for somebody to be convicted. So let's look at the top. We'll start here. Right? The first portion of the statute, this is Minneapolis law. Minnesota law. It said a person who causes the death of another by any of the following means is guilty of manslaughter in the second degree and may be sentenced to prison or imprisonment for no more than 10 years or to pay out a $20,000 fine. Okay? Statute 1. It says by the person's culpable negligence, right? Whereby the person creates an unreasonable risk and consciously takes chances of causing death or great bodily harm to another. So first of all, this is the only statute that matches, right? Because statute 2 is talking about you mistaking a person for an animal, shooting them, a spring gun, pitfall, a snare, setting somebody up in a trap where you negligently cause their death. This also pertains to animals. This last statute right here is just a statute that's a precursor for endangering children. So none of these statutes work, just the only one we have to work with. And let's just review this one more time. When they use the word culpable, that means that you have the conscious awareness, you have the right to know better than to do this. They call it the culpable mental state, right? So they believe in many states that an 8-year-old is culpable of certain statutory crimes. So Officer Potts is culpable, meaning that she's cognitively in her right mind. She is an officer of 20 plus years. She has the training. She has the experience. She is culpable. That means she understands what's going on. And then it's negligent, right? So I honestly believe that it was negligent what she did because she should have pulled out one instead of the other. But you have to read the entire statute, whereby a person creates an unreasonable risk. Now, there is nothing unreasonable about what happened, given the fact that this kid is fighting them and trying to drive off in a car after being wanted for armed robbery and also a possession of a firearm that he illegally is possessing. So it's not unreasonable for the threat level to be at the height that it was at. It's not unreasonable for this to be an incredibly stressful situation for a police officer when they're fighting a suspect who is wanted for armed robbery. That's where they run into the problem, because this is not unreasonable for the stress level to be at that point where she may make a mistake. That's not unreasonable. And then
that's a good point there, though, because in the video you can hear them tell him that he has a warrant and he knows what those warrants are for. But that means that they read off to themselves that's why they were pulling him out of the car, because they saw he had a warrant for armed robbery and possession of a firearm. I mean, I think any reasonable person, if you were in that police officer situation, you are a little bit more heightened approaching this individual. You are more aware. You're like, okay, I know what this person is involved in. So, that's a great point he makes right there.
Statute goes on to say, and it doesn't say or, it says and consciously taking chances of causing death or great bodily harm to another. Consciously taking chances. This isn't a taking a chance. This is a instantaneous fight for your life response. She's not taking any chances. This is a stress response that was an accident. Let me give you an example of why this statute would be applicable in a different scenario that will match this. So just say she was culpable. Obviously, it was negligent to make a mistake. It was negligent. You should know better, generally speaking. But if you create an unreasonable risk, meaning that if the guy is standing outside of his car and you tell him get back in the car, you tell him to get back in the car, he gets in the car, now you get ready to deploy a taser, right? So you have no reason to put the guy back in the car. It's unreasonable to put a suspect back in the vehicle. You have created a circumstance where he's back in the vehicle, he can drive off. Then once you put him back in the vehicle, you now perceive him as a threat of driving off. And so it's unreasonable to do that. And then the negligence or taking a chance, meaning that you took a chance by putting a person back in the vehicle, and then you decide to shoot them with a taser, but accidentally shoot them. To me, and that's one example of how a person can be unreasonable, putting somebody in unreasonable risk and constantly taking unreasonable chances.
This is why I like listening to him, bro, because great points once again. And that's something that like you could only get from somebody that's actually that has done the job and they have been in those situations. If you guys don't know about Officer Tatum, you should go check out his channel. He used to be on the SWAT team, so like he's been in some elite level situations doing police work. Let me let him keep talking.
Right. Or blindly shooting into some place where the guy got tinted windows. You pull out your gun and you shoot into the car without seeing anything. Mm-hmm. It's unreasonable. Even if you felt like your life was in danger, you can't see who you're shooting. You can't see the person in the car. It's an unreasonable risk that you're taking that causes the death of another person. This is not the case. What she did wasn't unreasonable. It was an accident in a high stress environment where the stress was necessitated by the suspect. He could have been going into the car to get a gun. Maybe she thought he was getting a gun out of the car, but she didn't want to shoot a black man. And I'm just hypothetically speaking. I'm not saying this is her. It could be, it could not be. But she don't want to shoot him when she probably needed to shoot him. She don't want to shoot him because he's black, even though she may have believed that he was going in the car trying to grab a gun and drive off. And then that play in your mind back and forth is where you make mistakes, where you can't make a decision. She going for the gun, but she really wanted to be a taser. I don't know what she was thinking. And I said from the very beginning, I don't see how an officer can make that mistake. I see how it can happen, but it's incredibly rare. And what that tells me, if an officer makes a mistake like that, is that they are not in a position to patrol, whether it's negligent or not negligent, whether it's poor training, whether it's you're going through too much stuff where your stress levels is out of whack. You just shouldn't be a police officer. That is a mistake you just can't make. That is a mistake. That's
another reason why I like listening to him too, because he's very fair. He judges police officers on the work that they do. He goes through videos and like scenes and breaks them down and tells them what they did wrong. And he's fair to both sides on saying like, hey, this guy did this wrong. The person that they were pursuing did this wrong. And the officer also did this wrong too. He's clearly saying here, if she's that stressed out, she shouldn't be an officer. And I agree. If she can make that type of mistake accidentally, which I think it was complete accident. You can tell in the video, she later says, I'm going to tase you. I'm going to tase you. Then it keeps going and she says, taser, taser, taser. Well, we can all see the gun, but apparently she just has blocked out this gun. And then she shoots him one time, and then she drops the gun. The other officer jumps back, and she's like, oh my God, I just shot him. Like, you can see there's complete surprise by everyone in the situation. That, to me, very well says that is a mistake. But if she can, in the end, though, the mistake did cost someone their life. So, and I think she does have to, I do think them charging her for something is, she should be brought up on trial and have to face her peers. But at the same time, I also think, yes, she should lose her job too. I believe they said she resigned and also the police chief resigned as well. I don't know really why the police chief resigned, but her resigning makes sense. I think whatever her life has reached a point to where she has too many outside factors going on that could be stressful, that affected her decision making at that time, to where she was able to block out that she had a gun in her hand instead of a taser. So, but I just like the way that he's fair across the board to both sides.
That you avoid in training. The gun and the taser feel totally different, and they're on two separate parts of your belt. But high stress can cause you to do things that you're not consciously aware of. Like, for instance, let me give you guys an example because I think it's incredibly important. We went through this study when I was on a SWAT team. You talk about the stress levels in the brain and what the brain can do that you cannot control. So when you get in a high stress situation, your brain begins to do things to preserve your life, right? Your motor skills and stuff begin to change because of high stress in your brain. And one of the things that we learned, and we used to do this scenario where you go in the house and there's a gun on the table, and it's right in front of you. You go in the house, but then there's a threat that pop up that you gotta shoot. And so people come into the thing, you have to walk, right? You have to really almost bump into the table when you go in, and then you go and shoot the target. In that high stress environment, because you already are thinking that something's gonna pop out at you, your brain is telling you threat is right here. Focus on the threat, live. Your brain will literally omit the vision of a gun on the table. The gun was there, you never saw it, because your brain omitted the gun. In your consciousness, your brain did not, your eyes did not see the gun. It was not on the table. Those things can happen to you in a high stress environment. That's why when I was on the SWAT team,
great point again. And there's numerous like psychology studies talking about how when people get so stressed out, how they get like tunnel vision, and they've shown you can look up videos too when people get like highly stressed out, how their eyes become narrowed and smaller, and so it's legit tunnel vision. You focus in on one thing and you literally block out every other thing happening around you. And I think, unless you have good training, that would be one of the worst things that could happen to you as an officer, because you have so many things happening around you in a situation like that.
We trained heavily in high stress environments with multiple things going on at one time, so that when the rubber hits the road, you don't panic and your brain knows how to function under stress. Have you ever had an instance where something dramatic happened in your life, or you heard somebody say something dramatic happened in their life, and they said everything slowed down, right? Everything slowed down. It was all in slow motion. And that's the brain response, right? Your brain is speeding up so that your perception is slowed down, so you can make decisions that will save your life. It's not that everything slows down like God has somehow put things in slow motion. It's that your brain goes into rapid response and everything slows down so you can make proper decisions under stressful environments. There's all kinds of different brain research that's done that can cause a person to not even know what they're reaching. They're just reacting. They see a threat. She think taser. Her brain goes to gun. Because that's her training. That's her body is feeling life and death. Her brain she's trying to grab a taser, she grabs the gun. And now her brain has completely omitted this process here. It's auto response. It's not even conscious. Her brain training told her reach for a gun in this stressful environment. But her mind, I guess her conscious is saying reach for the taser. Her subconscious is reaching for the gun in self-preservation mode. Dang. And that could be possible. However, it's inexcusable. We had this whole thing on the SWAT team where there was a SWAT team, I don't know what city it was in. They bust into a house. A young girl pops up out of the bed from under the covers. And the startle response of the SWAT officer is that he pulled the trigger on accident. So as soon as she popped up, when he got shocked, he pulled the trigger. That's why you don't have your finger on the trigger. You don't have your finger on the trigger unless you know what you got and you're going to shoot somebody. So, but that response caused SWAT teams all over the country to retrain and make sure that they're qualified in their training, that people don't accidentally shoot somebody because of a sympathetic stress response. All of these things are going to go into play in the court of law. And I just want to say this while I end it, is that 20 plus years of service in the police department, and I know I'm very disappointed in this officer, but 26 years, unless you're on the desk for 26 years or 20 plus years, you are saving people's lives every day. You are mentoring people. You are changing people's outcome. You are saving people from situations. You are actually saving.
I want to interject right there. Absolutely. She's probably done so much good in her community and helped people out, but all of that 26 years of work is about to be erased because of this one reactionary mistake, which is unfortunate. It really is. Now, why I think why she should go to a trial is because who do you blame in that situation? That's really what it's going to come down to. Did she make? And I say mistake. It sounds like he's saying mistake too. But are you saying her mistake is at fault while he died, or was it Duane Wright's actions that caused him to die that day? And that's where I think a trial has to come in, for the experts to give the opinions and the literature on a situation like this. But that's so unfortunate for her. Like, I'm sure she was an upstanding officer, and now all of that is just, man.
Saving their lives in many cases. You've done so much good over 26 years that one mistake should never negate all the great things that you've done. However, there's consequences for mistakes. Right. But people need to understand that this officer had an incredible lengthy service before this incident. And, it's funny that officers will never get an opportunity to say, I saved 45 people, I saved 45 lives, and I made a mistake and took one life of a thug that was going to die anyway. He's either going to die in prison or he was going to die in a gangbanging culture of robbing people and stealing. But she went through all the saving all these people and ended up making a mistake, killing this one person, and every other life that she saved is negated. I don't think that's right. I'm open to them charging her. I think it's the wrong charge, but I'm open to them saying, hey, you need to meet your peers because you did make an accident that cost the life of another person. You made a mistake that cost the life of another person. I'm okay with that. But give her a fair trial. Mm-hmm. Actually charge her with the appropriate charge. Don't demonize the woman and have her all out in the streets and y'all know y'all really don't have no good intent. If you honestly believe the statute is the right appropriate charge, then charge her with it. That's fine. I think she should win in court easily. I think she should win in court. But in this climate, with Chauvin and everybody else, you're not going to get a fair trial. Mm-mm. They already have their parents have been on TV every day. Defense attorneys have been on TV.
And that's the suckiest part of this. I actually just said something about this on my podcast. What an untimely event for her. She could not have picked a worse time to make a mistake. Because with that Derek Chauvin situation going on with George Floyd, I mean, people are already like up here. So now that this happened, you saw they started rioting and looting again. Because this happened once again in Minneapolis. What is it, Brooklyn Center, Minneapolis, Minnesota, or something like that. So that community is already like rioting again. And so now she's going to have to go to trial with those same people from that community around. They just got done, or they're finishing up with Derek Chauvin, and now they're going to have to turn to her. And man, what an awful time.
They've already deemed that this woman, it was a racial encounter, and that he only had an air freshener in his car. They only present those facts, and that's going to make it incredibly difficult to have a fair evaluation. So anyway, I thought I'd make that statement. We wrote an article. The Tatum Report wrote a full article about this. If you want more information, you can read the article from the Tatum Report in the description section. It'll be there below. Click on it, read all the information that you need. However, I love you guys. I appreciate you. Make sure you like and subscribe to this channel. Share this video. Visit the Officer Tatum store where you get all the merch.
Yeah, y'all know we're gonna get out of here too. Tell you. the guy gives great insight on these videos, like and on these situations that happen, because he was an officer at one point, so he knows what's up. So yeah, make sure to go check out his channel, even though he doesn't really need me to shout out his channel. But go check it out. Listen to his breakdowns. He has like he had it from when it first happened. He has that one. I'm thinking about. I didn't get to watch his one yet on what just happened with that lieutenant in the Army and those police officers. But he has a video up. I got the notification, but I hadn't got to watch that yet. I might make a reaction to that too. I don't know. But yeah, go check that out too, though, if you guys are interested in that situation too. I won't say too much more because he laid that out great. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Also, check out my podcast, the Ambitious Journey Podcast. You can go over to our YouTube channel and subscribe to that. Thank you. But you can watch that podcast over there, or you can listen to the audio on any major platform that you would listen to podcasts on. We're also still on the road to 5K. We are getting there. And whenever we make it to 5K, we're going to do a giveaway. We're going to do a giveaway with a hat with my channel's logo like that. We're going to do a t-shirt giveaway, and we're going to, with my channel's logo too, and then we're going to do a gift card as well. Yeah, that's all I really want to say. Until next time.